So the first thing that I'm hearing, and I doubt very much that any of our listeners, unless they have deep pockets where they have their own DSP specialist, they're gonna go find somebody. So tell us, what is the best way to pick a provider for this?
I would just talk to them about their experience with DSP. It's tough to do, obviously, when you yourself haven't run it hands-on. Like, how do you evaluate somebody else's outlook on DSP? But I would just ask about their general time they've worked with it, brands that they've worked with, because the DSP just has not been around that long. And what I essentially had built my consultancy business off of was honestly agencies that were taking on big DSP contracts, later realizing that they didn't really know how to do it, and they had to outsource because they didn't have it. Like, it doesn't necessarily, you can run Amazon PPC for years and it has no implication that you're going to know how to run DSP at all. So I would ask them about their general DSP strategies. I would ask them how it might differ from brand to brand. And I would ask them how a brand will know whether or not it's ready for DSP. Because a lot of brands will use the exact same strategy across every brand that they work with, or a lot of platforms or a lot of agencies will. And at the end of the day, that's not how this was meant to work. So when companies do that, they're going to see good results somewhere. They're going to see not good results elsewhere. That's why case studies can be valuable, but it's just so easy for people to cherry pick case studies. Like, if you have 20 plus clients and a couple of them happen to work, you're going to have a couple good case studies. So I would just probably ask to speak directly to who's going to be managing my DSP and figure out their experience. Because if this is something that was just put on a PPC manager's plate as somewhat of an afterthought, it's probably not going to work out. If it's somebody who people can do both, I've seen people who do both. I personally don't. I used to do PPC, but now I do not. My agency does, but I do not. I would just ask them about their experience at the end of the day. And if they're dedicated to that, or if they, we're just tasked with this random sort of thing and we're asked to figure it out. So it can be pretty tricky. But I'd also ask them about minimums, because if they gave you a 10,000 plus minimum, that's just not always the truth. And that's not good for every business. And it probably doesn't bode well for performance, because you're going to, this isn't the case for all brands, but a lot of the times you're going to wind up overspending.
Yeah. Okay.